The Grand Elysium Hotel stood as a monolithic testament to old money and unyielding exclusivity. Its facade, a dizzying array of polished granite and smoked glass, pierced the near-London skyline like a diamond-tipped arrow. Inside, hushed opulence reigned. The lobby, a cathedral of marble and gold leaf, whispered of generations of wealth. Its air thick with the scent of rare orchids and discreet power. To merely walk through its revolving doors was, for many, a statement to stay there, an affirmation of status. Anya Sharma, CEO of Astra Dynamics, a global tech conglomerate that had redefined digital infrastructure, stepped out of a sleek, autonomous vehicle onto the Grand Elysium's pristine curb. Despite the late hour, her posture was impeccable. Her tailored charcoal suit uncreased, her silk scarf a splash of vibrant emerald against the muted tones. Her skin, the color of rich mahogany, glowed under the soft streetlights, and her eyes, dark and intelligent, missed nothing. She carried a slim, expensive leather brief, and her presence, though quiet, commanded attention. She had just closed a multi-billion-dollar acquisition deal in Tokyo, a grueling 18-hour negotiation that had left her physically drained but mentally sharper than ever. The Grand Elysium was her preferred stopover, a place where she could momentarily shed the weight of global commerce and simply be. She had a standing reservation for their most exclusive penthouse suite, booked months in advance, confirmed twice by her executive assistant, and paid for in full. As she approached the gleaming brass doors, a doorman, stiff in his livery, offered a perfunctory nod. Inside, the lobby was sparsely populated, a few late-night guests meandering towards the bar or the lifts. Anya made her way to the reception desk, a sweeping arc of polished onyx behind which stood two figures. A young man named Julian, whose perfectly coiffed hair and perpetually bored expression screamed entitlement, and a woman named Brenda, her face a mask of practiced disdain, her eyes darting over guests with an almost predatory judgment. Julian, seeing Anya approach, barely looked up from his screen. "Can I help you?" he asked, his tone flat, devoid of the usual welcoming warmth. "Anya Sharma," she stated, her voice calm, clear, and resonant. "I have a reservation for the penthouse suite." Julian finally lifted his gaze, his eyes sweeping over her, lingering on her skin, her hair, her simple, yet undeniably expensive attire. A faint, almost imperceptible smirk touched his lips. He typed her name into the system, his fingers moving with a deliberate slowness. Brenda, meanwhile, had stopped wiping the counter and was now openly staring. Her eyes narrowed, a silent judgment passing between her and Julian. "Sharma, you say?" Julian repeated, his voice laced with a subtle disbelief. He scrolled through his screen, then looked up, a condescending smile now fully formed. "I'm afraid I don't see any reservation for a Sharma in the penthouse. Our penthouse suites are reserved for our most esteemed clientele." "Perhaps you're mistaken. Did you mean a standard room?" Anya's expression remained No, I did not. The reservation was made under Astra Dynamics for Anya Sharma. Confirmed suite 2701. Payment processed 3 weeks ago. Julian scoffed, a soft, dismissive sound. "Astra Dynamics, you said? And you sing well, read ... the CEO. His eyes flickered to her suit, then back to her face, a clear implication that she didn't fit his mental image of a CEO. "Forgive me, ma'am, but our records show no such booking. Perhaps there's been a mix-up with a different hotel chain." Brenda chimed in, her voice dripping with forced sympathy. "It happens, dear. These big companies, they book so many places. Are you sure you're at the right Grand Elysium? We have sister properties, you know." Anya's jaw tightened almost She was accustomed to There is no mix-up, my assistant confirmed it. The payment was cleared. Please check again. Perhaps under a corporate account, or a different search parameter. Julian sighed theatrically, rolling his eyes at Brenda. "Look, ma'am, I've checked. Thoroughly. Penthouse is booked. Fully. For our actual VIPs, I can offer you a standard room, perhaps on a lower floor, if you'd like to wait for a cancellation. But it would be a significant downgrade from what you seem to be expecting." He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper, laced with barely concealed mockery. "Unless, of course, you're here to visit someone, perhaps a staff member." The implication was clear. She was not a guest, but an associate, someone who belonged in the service entrance, not the opulent lobby. Anya felt a cold calm settle over her. The weariness from her flight vanished, replaced by a razor-sharp focus. "Are you suggesting I am lying, Mr. Julian?" Julian chuckled, a sound devoid of humor. I'm suggesting you're mistaken, ma'am. Or perhaps overreaching. This hotel has a certain clientele, if you understand what I mean. He gestured vaguely around the lobby, his eyes sweeping over the few white, impeccably dressed guests. Brenda stepped forward, her arms crossed, a smug smile on her face. Look, honey, no offense, but you don't exactly look like a penthouse guest. Maybe try the hotel down the street. The Budget Inn has some lovely vacancies. I hear. The laughter, soft and contemptuous, erupted from both Julian and Brenda. It wasn't loud, but it resonated in the hushed lobby, a public humiliation designed to cut deep. A few guests turned, curious, then quickly looked away, not wanting to be associated with the scene. Anya's eyes, which had been storm clouds, now flashed with a dangerous, almost imperceptible light. She reached into her brief, not for an ID, but for a sleek, custom-built comms device. Her fingers, long and elegant, danced across its surface. She didn't raise her voice, didn't show a flicker of anger. Her composure was chilling. Very well, she said, her voice a low, silken purr that somehow cut through their laughter. If I am not welcome here, I shall take my leave. She turned, her back ramrod straight, and walked towards the revolving doors, leaving Julian and Brenda still chuckling behind the desk, basking in their perceived victory. 20 minutes later, the laughter at the reception desk had died down, replaced by the usual hum of quiet efficiency. Julian was polishing a brass bell, humming softly. Brenda was meticulously arranging a vase of orchids. They exchanged knowing glances, a shared sense of satisfaction in having put that woman in her place. Suddenly, Julian's desk phone rang, a shrill, insistent sound that shattered the lobby's tranquility. He picked it up, annoyance coloring his tone. Grand Elysium, Julian speaking. The voice on the other end was clipped, urgent, and belonged to Mr. Harrison, the general manager, a man whose reputation for ruthlessness was legendary. Julian, get Brenda, and get to my office now and bring your shift logs. Every single one. Julian's blood ran cold. Harrison never called the front desk directly. This was not good. He exchanged a bewildered look with Brenda, who had also gone pale. They rushed to Harrison's office, a stark, minimalist space on the executive floor. Harrison was pacing, his face. His personal assistant, Ms. Albright, stood stiffly by the door, her expression grim. What is this about, sir? Julian stammered, his usual swagger completely gone. Harrison didn't answer immediately. He gestured to the large, wall-mounted screen behind his desk. On it, a live feed from the lobby security camera played. It showed Anya Sharma approaching the desk, her calm demeanor, Julian's dismissive gestures, Brenda's smug smile, and their shared, contemptuous laughter as Anya walked away. The timestamp on the video confirmed it. 20 minutes ago. Harrison turned, his eyes blazing. Do you two have any idea what you've done? He roared, his voice shaking with a barely suppressed rage. Do you have any idea who that woman was? Julian and Brenda exchanged a nervous glance. Some data archivist, sir, Julian mumbled. She didn't have a reservation, and she seemed out of place. Harrison let out a short, incredulous laugh, devoid of humor. Out of place. That data archivist, as you so eloquently put it, is Anya Sharma, CEO of Astrodynamics, and as of precisely 15 minutes ago, the new owner of the Grand Elysium hotel chain. The words hit Julian and Brenda like a physical blow. Their faces drained of all color. Their jaws dropped. The air in the room seemed to vanish. The new owner, the woman they had just mocked, laughed at, and kicked out. Astrodynamics finalized the acquisition of the Elysium Group this morning. Harrison continued, his voice rising with each word. A multi-billion-dollar deal that has been in the works for months. Ms. Sharma was coming here directly from Tokyo to conduct her first executive review of her new asset. And you incompetent, prejudiced fools, you turned her away. You insulted her. You laughed at her. Brenda gasped, a hand flying to her mouth. Julian swayed on his feet, feeling a sudden, overwhelming wave of nausea. The reality crashed down on them, heavy and suffocating. She called me directly, Harrison snarled, his eyes burning with fury. Not her assistant, not her lawyers. And she didn't scream. She didn't threaten. She simply stated, in that chillingly calm voice of hers, that she had just experienced a fundamental misalignment with the core values of the Elysium Group, and that immediate, decisive action was required. She then informed me that she would be returning in precisely 20 minutes. and that she expected to find the entire staff responsible for her unwelcome experience, ready for immediate termination. Harrison paused, taking a deep, shuddering breath. And that, Julian, Brenda, is why you are here. Pack your things. Effective immediately, you are both terminated. For gross misconduct, for discrimination, and for an unforgivable breach of hospitality standards. You are a disgrace to this establishment. Julian stammered. But, sir, we didn't know. You thought she was lesser. Harrison cut him off, his voice cold as ice. You assumed, you judged. And in doing so, you not only insulted the new owner of this entire company, but you exposed the rot that has clearly been festering in this hotel's culture. Get out. Now, both of you. As Julian and Brenda stumbled out, their faces pale with shock and despair, Anya Sharma was already stepping out of the elevator in the lobby, her composure as serene as ever. She was accompanied by a small entourage of impeccably dressed individuals, her chief legal counsel, her head of corporate acquisitions, and a stern-faced security detail. She walked directly to the reception desk. Julia and Brenda were gone, replaced by two terrified junior staff members who stood ramrod straight, their eyes wide with apprehension. Anya surveyed the lobby, her gaze sweeping over every detail, every corner. She then looked at the two new receptionists. Good evening, she said, her voice calm. I am Anya Sharma. I believe I have a reservation. The new receptionist, a young woman named Chloe, swallowed hard. Yes, Miss Sharma, of course. Suite 2701. It's ready for you. We are so incredibly sorry for the misunderstanding. Anya simply nodded. She then turned to her head of corporate acquisitions. Mr. Davies, I want a full audit of this hotel's HR policies, training procedures, and customer service protocols. Every single employee, from the top down, will undergo mandatory diversity and inclusion training. Any discriminatory behavior, any instance of prejudice, will result in immediate termination. This hotel will reflect the values of astrodynamics, innovation, excellence, and respect for every single human being, regardless of their appearance or perceived status. Her voice, though calm, resonated with an undeniable authority that filled the vast lobby. Guests, who had been discreetly watching, now openly stared, a mixture of shock and admiration on their faces. And Mr. Harrison, Anya continued, turning to the general manager, who had just arrived, looking utterly I expect a full report on the implementation of these changes on my desk by morning. This hotel will be a beacon of hospitality, not a bastion of prejudice. Understood. Harrison, a man who rarely bowed to anyone, nodded meekly. Understood, Miss Sharma. Absolutely. It will be done. Anya then turned to her chief legal counsel, and for the two individuals who were at the desk earlier, Mr. Chun, ensured their termination is processed efficiently, and that their actions are noted in their professional records. We will not tolerate such behavior within the Astrodynamics portfolio. With her instructions delivered, Anya finally allowed a small, almost imperceptible smile to touch her lips. She took the key card offered by the trembling receptionist. Thank you, Chloe. I appreciate your professionalism. She then walked towards the lifts, her entourage falling in behind her. As the lift doors whispered shut, sealing her away, the lobby of the Grand Elysium seemed to breathe a collective sigh. The air, once thick with the scent of prejudice, now felt cleaner, charged with a new, undeniable energy. The story of the black CEO who was kicked out of the luxury hotel, only to return 20 minutes later to fire the entire staff responsible, spread like wildfire through the city's elite circles. It became a cautionary tale, a legend whispered in boardrooms and exclusive clubs. The Grand Elysium underwent a radical transformation. Its staff was retrained, its policies over, its culture meticulously scrubbed clean of the subtle biases that had festered for so long. It became, ironically, a model of inclusive luxury, a testament to Anya Sharma's unwavering commitment to justice and equality. Anya, meanwhile, continued to build her empire, but with a renewed focus on corporate responsibility and social impact. She never forgot the laughter, the dismissal, the casual contempt. It was a reminder that even at the pinnacle of success, the fight for respect was never truly over. But she had fought back, not with anger, but with the quiet, devastating power of ownership, proving that true authority lay not in inherited status or superficial appearances, but in integrity, vision, and the unwavering courage to demand respect, not just for herself, but for all. The Grand Elysium, once a symbol of exclusionary power, now stood as a monument to the day a black sea, dismissed and humiliated, returned to sweep away the old prejudices and usher in a new era of true hospitality.